Thanks for clicking the video. We've got a special message at the end for you if you wouldn't mind sticking around for it. Also, it's totally free to like the video and share it with a friend, which would be so super helpful. Thanks. I requested after last month's Patreon stream, that we hear more Angela because I was so impressed. I made a TikTok about her, and I really appreciate this request. Sweet zombie Jesus, crispy obliged. And this is a solid pick for spooky season. So this is going to be Archenemy, Ravenous, live in Tokyo from 2008. Oh my God. You gotta be kidding me. Okay, sorry, I got so wrapped up. I pulled up the lyrics at one point. This is so hype. You know what's funny is that, like, you think about like Ginger Pisces, right? That, like, so viral because of how intense and amazing the growls are. But I think part of that is because that song is all about, like, contrast. That song is all about the contrast of, like, what is happening. There's so much, like, clean vocals, a very nice, like, low, you know, she's like a soprano. She's got a pretty nice, clean voice. I'm talking about Tatiana right now. And then she comes out with this huge growl, and it, like, surprises you if you don't know what to expect, right? But on the other hand, the way Angela approaches it, it's just right out of the gate, fireworks, huge sound, like shredding vocals. And there's no room for that, like, contrast to take place, so it just, like, sucks you in. And the other thing is that the music they're playing, it, like, crosses that line between, like, melodic and, like, heavy metal. It's so hype. It has all of that energy. Yeah, it's like melodic death metal. And when I was a kid, I watched a lot of Metalocalypse, and I think the music in that show, that, like, you know, the old, it's not that old, but the, like, Cartoon Network, Adult Swim, you know, it's kind of satirical, but it was good music. And it always stuck with me as, like, okay, this is, like, fun, and it's kind of funny, the subject matter, but the melodies and the harmonic patterns were all so intense. And that's what this reminds me of, but it's such It's like empowering music. But then you combine that with the raw energy of her vocals, and it's almost like intimidating, right? I mean, we talk so much about the philosophy of like metal vocals and why they are the way they are. And I think that the harshness that she brings, it's not always about that idea of vocal disability that we've spoken about before, where a voice represents like a physical disability, or like the thing that causes the harshness in a voice leads to some kind of, connection in our heads as listeners. For example, if you hear like an old jazz or blues singer and they have a little bit of rasp in their voice because they're smoking cigarettes, we can associate that with the kind of person who like aggressively smokes cigarettes to cope with some pain in their life, and therefore we have a new dimension of understanding to the music. And we can realize that either consciously or subconsciously. And so that's the idea of vocal disability. It's associating what we hear with the story of the singer themselves. And so in this case, it's Angela taking complete command over that vocalism and completely maxing out on her harsh vocals, which implies whether or not her body, we know she's in great shape and she can support the breath so well. That's also how she can create the sound. And so we associate her as a performer with this kind of immense power, this immense presence, and this immense energy on stage that just like riles you up into this awesome like feeling. That's why we all miss live music, right? Oh man. And that's why we watched over half the video without saying anything, because I completely lost my mind. Oh, it's so awesome. Ab's enemy. Yeah, I mean, if we have a good close-up, we'll be able to see, let's go back a little bit, because I want to just kind of listen to this chorus a little more, and then we can keep going. But, oh my gosh. Oh, there's no abs. There's no crop top in this. Here, do me a solid and close your eyes. In fact, don't even close your eyes. I'm going to close your eyes for you. And just forget about what you just heard and just think of, being like listening. You play your Discovery Metal playlist, right? And you're listening and you're like, oh, wow, this is great. What do you imagine the singer looks like? Obviously, we all know what she looks like at this point, but what do you think this singer looks like when you hear? She looks like an opera singer. Actually, I mean, there are some opera singers she looks very close to. That being said, I wouldn't even know that it's a female vocalist. That's obviously like my own biases and how my ear works, and it's not like the greatest response objectively. However, I would not assume that this is a female vocalist. And I wouldn't even say I would hear like a tall, big person like screaming at the top of like their lungs. Like, I wouldn't imagine someone this like fit and efficient in their vocal instrument. When you see the body stance she has, so open and concrete, and from an objective performance standpoint, if you're talking about like theater performers, live performers of any kind, this is like the ultimate power stance. In opera, this is like the finale moment, right? But she does it at every second, and I'm so inspired to experiment with how the body, continue to experiment with how the body affects vocal production, because the way she does it, it's sustainable because she is engaging so many muscles outside of the voice. The last time we watched her, we talked about how engaged her abs were. She literally has like a defined six-pack that becomes more defined while she's singing. And it's part of her technique, so obviously due to her use of the physical body in the vocal process. And like, though we're zoomed out, your eye is still drawn to her as like a physical entity. She's not just standing there playing an instrument. Not that these guys are just standing there playing an instrument, but she's taking all of the energy on the stage, drawing it into her, part of her physical presence. That also contributes to the voice. The voice contributes to our understanding and appreciation and ability to dig into the music. And it's like this wonderfully integrated performance. And that's why. All of these different psychological pins that draw us in.
Oh, man.
Now, this is what I love about having smart people in chat, people who are smarter than me. There are some small elements that hint that she's a lady. The shock factor pulls you in and you stay for the good music, the perfect hook. Yeah, I think so. I think that's part of it. I do hear a female voice, but I understand that some people might not. Yeah, right? Oh, no problem, Spralos. I'm happy you can at least listen in. Absurd compression and overtones, and you can hear the smaller resonant spaces. Yeah, so maybe that contributes to the ease of production or something, or the ability to produce so many high overtones in the growl. That would be like what you said, Raptor, like a smaller resonant space that would optimally, reverberate the higher overtones that give us a better overall, depth of profile in the scream. That's totally reasonable to assume. Part of the reason why, like, in general, the female voice is able to resonate at higher pitches more easily, that's part of the reason. So if you apply that logic so intelligently as you did to the idea of screaming and maximizing like a false fold closure as well as like a screech sound in higher resonance and maximizing the overtones, which is the thing that makes the growl more impressive to listen to, then it would make sense that like that would be signs of a female voice. I love that. I would have never thought of that. Brilliant. No problem, Rune. Thank you. Thanks for letting us know. Big fan of Alyssa too. Archenemy, good work. Yeah. Alyssa, yeah, we've listened to Alyssa as well. I mean, there's so many good metal vocalists who are women, and who are men, or anything in between. It's really it's a skill set, right? That I personally am discovering through bands like this, not applying it to my own technique, but learning about it. It's very interesting. Listen to the differences between Angela and Floor. Oh yeah, who's about a foot taller, just a big person, and yours is an empty hope. Yeah, so we did yours is an empty hope. It was one of like the first 2 weeks of videos on YouTube last year. But yeah, it's also a totally different technique, I think, because though she does do some growls, they're not like Floor doesn't use growls with this kind of frequency, so it changes the way I would listen to it in like a chronology sense. I think that's interesting though. It would be cool to do it back to back. I think I want to plan a stream in the future that's literally just like back to back similar artists. Not saying who's better, but just kind of talking about what they do and like how they're different. That would be cool. Yeah, but false fold growls, for someone who does more clean vocals than harsh vocals, false fold growls are the healthiest way to go. I will experiment sometimes with false fold growls, but I will not go for like screech stuff just by the nature of how I need to use my voice on a regular basis. Okay. All right, cool. Let's keep it going. Great solo, by the way. Rockin' solo. so good.
Hey there, I hope you enjoyed checking out our coach analysis and reactions today. Your support really does mean so much. We've been posting content here on YouTube for almost a year now, and the growth of this channel would not be possible without music lovers and singers like yourself. Now, if you haven't already, it would be awesome to see you in our Discord server, discord.gg/bigbrainsinger, where you can hang out with and chat with other like-minded music enthusiasts. With all the growth we've seen in recent months, we have started planning a ton of really big community projects coming up. And we're actually looking for passionate individuals to help us work on social media marketing and video editing. If you have any interest in helping the community, and those are some things you're interested in specifically, I'd love to hear from you. You can either find me on Discord or email me at charlie@bigbrainsinger.com. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.